Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I call this September 19th, 2018 meeting of the Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority to order. Commissioner Quezada will participate by telephone and Commissioner O'Malley is excused. All other members are present. Let's start with the invocation and a pledge of allegiance. We'll have a moment of silence, then the pledge of allegiance led by Ms. Nair.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thanks for being here this evening. We're going to change the agenda a bit. We're going to move item 10A up to the first of the meeting, so that is other business, which is a water report. We have two people giving presentations. The first is New Mexico Drought Report by Mr. Bustos, or not, by Catherine Uhas. Mr. Bustos, you've changed your style of dress quite a bit.
Just slightly. So glad I could be here with you this evening.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board. Oh, let me get to my, there we go. We are still in severe drought, but just like last month, our customers are doing a great job conserving water now that we're getting a little bit of rain. You'll see over on the right that we have used 386 million gallons less than we did for this same time period last year. That equates to about 1.5 gallons per person per day and means that we will probably finish this year at about a 2 gallon per person per day reduction, which is fantastic given the drought conditions we've been experiencing all year. So we have some very, very savvy customers with their water use. And more good news for you. This is the map showing the probability of precipitation during the months of December, January, and February. So this is our winter, and it looks like we're going to have a wet winter, and we should be developing some good snowpack. So this will be a better year than last year that way. And with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for making that happen. My husband is a skier, will be very happy.
Anytime. If only I'd known, I would have done it last year.
Thank you. I should have asked. Are there any questions, commissioners? Ms. Uhas, thank you.
Thank you.
And next we have a threat assessment report by Diane Agnew. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, members of the board. I'm going to be sharing this presentation with Kate Mendoza. Together we make up the Source Water Protection Team. We left our capes in our office. And so Kate's going to kick us off.
Hi, I'm Kate Mendoza. I'm a water resources specialist, and Diane Agnew as our water quality hydrologist. And we're excited tonight to get the opportunity to talk to you about our source water protection plan and more specifically the groundwater assessment that we just completed for that. Just want to also note real quick that our plan was the American Water Works Association 2018 Exemplary Source Water Protection Plan. We are the only very large utility to receive that, and we received that in Las Vegas this summer. So as part of the Source Water Protection Plan, it is a plan to protect, ultimately, our two sources of water, surface water and groundwater both. So in this plan, we look at, and as part of this plan, we look at the potential sources of contamination or threats that we may have to our source waters. We look at and we evaluated all of the threats and potential sources of contamination that we may have, and we developed a list of protection measures that we can do to protect our source water and reduce and eliminate those potential sources from becoming actual sources. Also, source water protection takes a team. The Water Authority is very much the head of that, but it takes this, partnerships with other entities such as the city and the county, both to participate in source water protection for our future. So source water assessment, for the assessments, we started off by delineating the source water protection areas for both groundwater and surface water. Then we completed an inventory of all of those potential sources of contamination, and that included land use, what the land was used for in the area. It also included sources from the New Mexico Environment Department, where they keep a whole database of things that they're tracking for source water protection. And then with those assessments, we finally determined a susceptibility of our water supply to contamination by looking at the vulnerability to the potential sources of contamination and by looking at the sensitivity of the wells to contamination. So to explain the source water protection areas a little bit more, I have these two graphics up for you. So on the left, you see the groundwater source water protection area, SWPA, and the surface water source water protection area. So the outer ring, you see there is a well in the middle, and it has several zones A through D, where we looked at the potential sources in those areas. So you may notice on this map there's some dots and some lines, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. There are some parcels delineated from land use that may be of interest, such as gas stations or dry cleaners. And there's also on here, you may see like green squares. Those delineate parks, for example. And although those are not typically what you would think of as a source of contamination, it's something to be aware of. For example, overuse of fertilizers. That could happen at a park. We are not saying that it is, but it could. So it's a potential source. And so it looked at arroyos, it looked at roads, it looked at all different kinds of things were included in those lists. So we got a comprehensive overview. And then the surface water one, you can see on the right, there's a lot more going on in that picture. The scale's a little bit larger. That is, you're looking at our diversion in Albuquerque, and then just upstream of that, 3 river miles into the Corrales area. So you may see lots of dots. Those actually, a lot of them represent private wells, as in the Corrales area. Again, same thing, not a source of contamination, but potential. And I'm going to turn it over to Diane to discuss further.
Thank you. So this graphic here is one of the things you'll hear come up over and over again in these assessments is this idea of a potential source of contamination or a threat. And so that phrase, potential source of contamination, is pretty broad in its definition. Like Kate said, it can be anything from a park, from fertilizers to insecticides, herbicides, to things that we traditionally associate with contamination: gas stations, dry cleaners, industrial manufacturing facilities. We also have in there agricultural fields were accounted for, because agricultural fields, again, have fertilizer, but they also have runoff of that can go into the river, it can go down into the groundwater. Doesn't mean it definitely does, but it could. This graphic is one that we actually created for our assessments. One of the things we were trying to figure out how to do is to talk to our customers about potential sources of contamination without scaring them, but also educating them, because part of living in an industrialized city and urban area is that we do have potential sources of contamination. So we created this graphic, which is actually being picked up by the urban waters groups. There's a lot of community groups that are taking our graphic and using it to talk to their residents, because there are things that we can all do. There's some things we need awareness on, and this graphic communicates that. Another one on here I like to highlight is the idea of a landfill. Former landfills had fewer regulations than current landfills, so it's identified as a potential source of contamination. So our groundwater source water assessment looked at, as Kate said, the susceptibility of our groundwater supply wells to contamination. And that had several inputs. One of them was well infrastructure. We worked with our engineering group to look at their asset management plan and the analysis that they had done on the well. Naturally occurring in the ground that could prevent contamination from getting to a well. I like to think of sensitivity as a mitigation measure. Is there anything that you can do to stop or prevent or slow contamination from impacting a source? And then the other part of it was vulnerability. So how vulnerable are we if something were to happen? So what is the type of contaminant? Are we talking about a contaminant that likes to be in water, is soluble, or one that likes to be in dirt, is insoluble? The occurrence of that, how many times does that occur within a protection area? And then also, how close is it to the source? Are we talking about a mile, half mile, really, within the quarter mile of a well? We analyzed 83 individual wells, And the susceptibility actually went across the full range. So we had wells that ranked as low. We had one well that ranked as high. That one high rating was a well that was aging. And so its score is really driven mostly by its infrastructure, and was already flagged for replacement. So it's a well that we expect that we can bring down in its score. We also identified 6 priority groundwater contamination sites. So as part of our assessment, Kate and I built an inventory of known groundwater contamination in Albuquerque, looked at those sites, looked at where they were in the regulatory process, looked at proximity to our wells, and came up with a priority list. So we're tracking all the groundwater contamination sites, but these 6 are our top priority sites that we will take to our regulators, to our local agencies, so we can all focus our resources to make sure these sites get remediated rapidly. And then the susceptibility scores then were used to make the protection measures. The protection measures are things that we believe that we can do to either take that score from high to moderate or low for the well, or maintain the low status for a well. So what were the protection measures? Well, one of the things I think is really exciting is that the groundwater source water assessment, many of the recommendations were things that the water authority is already doing. I think that's really pretty incredible. For example, the water authority is already monitoring with increased frequency on a voluntary basis at wells near known groundwater contamination sites. For example, the Kirtland bulk fuel spill wells in close proximity to that site we've been monitoring monthly. We were already voluntarily looking at all of our wells for a wide range of analytes on an annual basis, and that was one of the recommendations that came out of the assessment. So we were doing a lot of things already, including the coordination and collaboration with other agencies. So city and county, we are already talking to them on a regular basis, talking to them about programs that they have, programs that we have, how we can partner on outreach efforts, education efforts, and that goes to the third bullet, that public education and outreach are key. So working with our customers to know that they have a role in this. Something like I talked to Councilor Gibson about was prescription drug disposal. Don't flush it down the toilet. And that's something that is pretty simple to send the message out on, and actually goes quite a bit of ways to source water protection. And then that actually led to the development of the magnet that you each received tonight. This is a first edition source water protection program magnet, and we gave that out to all of our customers at the customer conversations. Yes, hang it in the refrigerator at home. And that website link on the magnet actually takes you to what we saw as one of the biggest needs was one-stop shopping. You know, I knew for myself that if I had to go to multiple websites to find information, I was unlikely to go do that. And so I imagine our customers are the same way. So we put the information from that link so they can easily get to how to get rid of household hazardous waste, where they can find prescription take-back programs, like neighborhood cleanup days and those kind of things. So all of those are one-stop shop link to make it easy and accessible to all of our customers. And with that, we'll stand for questions.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Councilor Davis.
And Ms. Agnew, if I'm getting ahead of ourselves, I know there's another piece of this. We talked about oil and gas sort of issues. Are we going to include that here? Or are we doing that in a water report later? But I think that's another piece of this really big work that y'all have been taking on.
Yeah, we did account for oil and gas in our groundwater source water assessment, and we didn't include that in the presentation tonight because what it ended up being is that we found that there's no risk in our service area. That we looked at permits, we looked at existing wells, found that they'd either been abandoned or the permits were with companies that weren't in business anymore. And then we also worked at looking at the USGS study, right, and also the New Mexico Bureau of Geology and Mineral Resources study that they had done for Sandoval County to look at the potential. So asking the question, is there potential for oil and gas in our service area in Bernalillo County? And with those two assessments, found the answer to that is no. And I highly recommend the Bureau of Geology study, and they're really great. They have a great presentation that they can give to you. But the cliff notes are that they looked at the data for our basin, they looked at what could potentially be occurring here, and if it was here, it would be at depths that would be like 28 to 28,000 feet below ground. And then if someone were to get down there to get to the gas, it was going to be methane, which is not an economic resource at this point. So we we did account for it, and we can give more detailed information for sure. It was not anything that came out of the assessment as being something that we were concerned about.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I just want to just sort of, or if I may, follow that and say, you know, the staff has been really working at this. Y'all have been working on this for quite some time. And as you can see, like, it's not just a quick look. It's a comprehensive look at all 150 some odd wells we have. Sort of what are the contaminants, what are the concerns going forward for the next few years, and really looking forward, because, you know, we've been looking, long before I was on this board, staff and this board has been looking at how did we get to a place with the Kirtland spill, and how do we avoid that with all of these future other areas. And I have to say, having been able to sit in on some of these over the last few months, I'm incredibly impressed at the amount of data it took and then compiling from all these different places and silos to do. I think the next step for us, and I think maybe Ms. Agnew and Ms. Mendoza, I maybe want to ask, but I think the next step for us is, as the Water Authority completes this report and we look at what are our threat assessments, what are our threats around our wells, that maybe not the ones that are already slated to be replaced, but the ones we certainly need to have in service for the next 20 years, 50 years, and 100 years for our water plan. It sounds to me like there's a land use regulation role here for the city and the county to really look at those source water zones, right, and decide what type of land use is necessary, or restrictions or permitting might be necessary to ensure that we don't accidentally get another potential polluter over a source. Is that sort of what next steps for this, as I understand? While we have city councilors.
It's definitely a recommendation that came out of the groundwater source water assessment, and it's you'll see a lot of large municipalities, they call them wellhead protection areas. So they're formal areas where they're exactly what you're talking about, looking at land use, whether or not the, in a designated wellhead protection area, what
Right.
can be zoned for being constructed, and also look at how, what kind of rules are put into place for transferring properties and that kind of stuff. So it's definitely something that can be a tool for reducing susceptibility of water, or well resources for sure.
That's great. And then, Madam Chair, my last one is, what are our next steps? Either Mr. Sanchez, Ms. Agnew, Ms. Mendoza, what are the next things we need to do? We now have clearly we have a great program. Clearly we've got the early data from everybody from oil and gas to the state to the city and others. What's our next step in this terms? Do we need to look at those source programs for each of the wells and really start to do that? What type of investment does it take from this board, or program will it take to get that type of data so that we can start to protect the land above our water?
That's a great question. So, short term, I think we need to start working with our sister agency, the city and county, to implement some of these protection measures. One of the things that we have flagged for future updates to this assessment, which, by the way, that's one of the recommendations too, is regular updates to this. So
Right.
we're not going to put this on our shelf and come back to it in 10 years. We're going to be looking at it continuously, not on this scale, but every year, what do we know more? Actually, anecdotally, literally Monday, a new site came up on my radar. We're already getting into that, understanding the site and implementing, integrating it into this assessment. So doing the regular updates, and then looking at what other source water protection programs are doing for the wellhead protection areas.
Mm-hmm.
So some cities do capture zone analysis, so they're actually looking at what the well zone of influence is. There are other ways to look at that protection area that may be more representative and protective than the uniform radius. And so that's one of the things we flagged for the next 5-year update, is to be able to get to look at how we did that and see if we really want to keep doing that, or if we want to go to this capture zone or a more representative protection area. And so that's in our future update.
Thanks. Mr. Sanchez, and maybe help me a little bit, is it appropriate for us to do this board to adopt these findings or make a resolution and a recommendation asking the city and the county to begin that process? Or I know we work through the Intergovernmental Committee anyway already, but what is the right process for us to move forward from the Water Authority to ask the city and the county to help us protect those areas?
Madam Chair, Councilor Davis, I think that's certainly possible. There's nothing inappropriate of that. I think our plans are to continue the public education process in a meaningful way. Our last round of customer conversations were on source water protection.
Right.
And we received a lot of feedback from the public about the best ways to communicate these messages. so we plan to do that. But we can certainly prepare a memorial of some type that would go to the city and the county, encouraging them to go through this report and collaborate and adopt appropriate provisions.
And whether it's that or just something we can share with other counselors and
Sure.
commissioners to help them understand why we think this is so important, I think that'd be
Sure.
great. So thank you, Madam Chair, for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Counselor Davis. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
interesting.
you.
Thank you. We now have the Water 2120 update with Mr. John Stomp.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. I came in September and I gave a quick update on the Water 2120, sort of an overview, and then talked a little bit about the policies that were in the Water 2120 plan. Tonight, I'm going to review a little bit of what I talked about last time in terms of the policies, but I'm going to talk a lot more about infrastructure tonight and kind of set the stage for what's going to be required in terms of infrastructure for those of you that weren't part of the 2120 process, or for those of you that need a nice little review. If you remember, one of the huge successes that we have here at the Water Authority and the city before us is our conservation plan and the efforts that we've taken to reduce our water use. And this is a picture of our water use over time. If you look at the bottom portion of the graph, it shows our water use starting about 1992, and it goes along the x-axis till about 2017. In 1995, we were using about 125,000 acre feet a year, and over the last 5 years, we've used less than 100,000 acre feet. So here we are. We've increased the number of accounts by about 50%. We've grown by 50%, and the amount of water that we're using is significantly less. That's an incredible story. Our GPCD started at 250, and it's gone to 128. We've adopted a new goal of 110 gallons per capita per day by 2037. Or 20, is it 2027, right? No. 2737, good. I said it right the first time. One of the biggest benefits that we've seen, and is very hard to argue against, is that the aquifer is rising in the Middle Rio Grande. It's happening everywhere in the Middle Valley. In Albuquerque itself, it's probably risen on average about 40 feet. These graphics show what happened as the aquifer was dropping before 2008 when the drinking water project came online. Then there was a rapid increase, and the aquifer is continuing to rise. That little graphic that you see of going down and coming back up, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later in our groundwater management strategy, because that plan is the aquifer is going to continue to rise for the future, and then what are we going to do to make sure that we protect this from happening again. The plan was developed by analyzing what our future demands were going to be, looking at the supplies that we have, incorporating climate change and climate variability and the issues that we're going to face in the future in terms of a potential reduction of our water resources. How do we fill those gaps? That is the difference between our supply and our demand. And what are the alternative strategies? And if you remember, we looked at 57 different alternatives in terms of these portfolios. We started to put these together. The demand projections, as we know, are going to be wrong for the future, but if you looked at a range of projections, we looked at low projected demand and high projected, and we hope that we're somewhere in the middle, but we know we're going to be wrong. We picked the median projected demand, and just to put that in perspective, our median projected demand in the past was now considered our high projected demand. So in other words, the growth has slowed in the region, in Albuquerque, and our potential future usage is down as compared to what it was even in 2007. This is the climate variability portion of it. We worked with the Bureau of Reclamation, and we used 121 different hydrologic scenarios that they used to evaluate the impacts of the climate variability on the Colorado River. Since our San Mochama water is Colorado River water, they predict on the medium's projected supply a reduction of about 15% over the next 60 years. And the worst case scenario, called the hot dry ensemble, was about a 30%, 25 to 30% reduction. So we use that information in terms of projecting what our supplies might be. So we said, in the best case, what we got in the past is what we got. In the worst case, we're going to have a 30% reduction over time. So if you think about the gaps, we're going to continue to grow. Our demand's going to increase, but our supply availability could potentially decrease, or most likely will potentially decrease. So the groundwater management reserve concept, or the groundwater reserve management plan, is to protect the aquifer for the future generations. So where we were in the past as the aquifer was dropping down, we didn't leave ourselves a lot of options. We brought the drinking water project online. It began to rise. And we saw a pattern there that will allow us to manage the aquifer for the future. So we voluntarily adopted policies, and when I say we, you, this board, adopted policies that said we're going to reduce our overall groundwater use in the future, and we're going to implement projects, that is infrastructure, to use our existing resources so that we don't get in that situation where the aquifer's dropping again. So our goal is, if you look at this graphic, we got the dotted orange line coming down. If you remember that picture I showed you of the aquifer dropping previously, that's a projection of that. It's starting to rise, and we think it's going to rise for about 10 years. And then when we get to that top, so to speak, where do we go from there? So what we don't want to do is do nothing and end up in the same situation we were in the past, and that would be the white dotted line. The orange dotted line is to implement that infrastructure, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit, and so that we keep that aquifer above what we are calling the 3/4 full line. So we tried to remember, if we had this concept of trying to explain to the public the gas gauge concept, like if we had a full tank, the aquifer was full, and we don't want to use a full tank, so we want to save some for the future. So we never want to get below 3/4 of a tank. And what that means is that this board has set a policy that we are going to allow our kids and future generations options in the future for water resources management, that we're not going to use up all the supplies that we have in the next 100 years and leave our kids with no choices. So that's what the groundwater management plan is about. The portfolio that we looked at, this was what are some of the 47 alternatives. Of course, we're going to use our existing supplies. That's our groundwater and our surface water. I talked about the conservation plan. We're going to do additional reuse. As we continue to pump less from the aquifer, as we pump, we owe water to the river. We pay that back through our return flows. As that obligation reduces over time, we're going to have excess return flows. And instead of just letting it flow down the stream, we're going to be using those return flows either to put on turf for irrigation or actually to treat and to use as a drinking water source. Stormwater capture is part of our long-term management, indirect potable reuse, which I just talked about, and watershed management. So this was one of the 3 portfolios that we put together, some of those 47 alternatives to fill those gaps. So when we projected that gap for the future, we used the medium supply and we used the medium demand. We had a gap that started in 2080 and went up to as high as about 40,000 acre feet. When we implemented portfolio number 1, that gap went away. When we looked at the long-term supply problems associated with the hot, dry scenario, we still had a gap, and that gap started about 2085 and again went up to about 40,000 acre feet. We had alternatives in our bag that we could have put together to fill that gap, but we felt strongly, when I say we, again, this board felt very strongly that rather than trying to project what's going to happen in 2085, wouldn't it be better to continue to implement this plan, come back and update this plan so we can continue to look at that gap, and if we still have that gap, a few decades from now, then we should be able to fill that and come up with the alternatives to do that. Some of the key elements of this plan, if you remember, are we are no longer in the purchasing water rights. So for many, many decades, we were the leaders in transferring water rights out of agricultural use into our groundwater permit. We are no longer doing that. We stopped that when this plan was adopted, and I'm happy to say that the only one that's in the market anymore really is Rio Rancho. And so this has made a huge difference in terms of the long-term impacts in the Middle Valley, and we're very pleased about that. We considered climate change and using our existing resources, of course, as the primary element of the plan. I'm not going to go through every one of these key elements. So in this plan, we projected this infrastructure that we were going to need for the future, including aquifer storage and recovery in the decade in the 2020s, and then going out to 2065, looking at additional reuse and indirect potable reuse. That is, take effluent, either blend it with another source, treat it, and drink it. So these we implemented and looked at in decades what kind of infrastructure would needed to be built. And if you remember the discussion we had, this isn't infrastructure necessarily that we're going to build. It could be developer funded or developer built infrastructure that we accept, or it could be infrastructure that our ratepayers do. It's going to be some combination of that, and it depends on the capacity needed at the time and the capacity that people potentially request from us in the future in terms of when these potential projects might fall in line. So we have a series of projects here over the next 45 years. In terms of 2020 implementation, I started to have this discussion in terms of where are we at. So we've adopted the conservation plan. In terms of our groundwater management plan, I put a nice graphic in here, and it's a little bit complicated, but the black line is intended to show you our impact on the river. So as we were pumping more heavily over time, our impact continued to grow. Since the drinking water project came online, you can see the black lines drop significantly. our impact on the river has dropped about 15,000 acre feet in the last 10 years. And that blue sort of area is where that recharge is coming for. So we've reversed the trend in the aquifer from dropping to rising, which means that we're getting more recharge than we are impacting from our pumping itself. So this is incredibly good news. It's going to continue over a period of time. In terms of reuse and recycling, we talked about a west side reuse project. I'll talk a little bit more about that in terms of construction. We have an east side project where we're going to build a reuse plant on Kirtland Air Force Base property. And we, as you remember last month, you had adopted a resolution to request funding from the Water Trust Board for a Windrock reuse facility. Water conservation, I'm not going to talk in detail about this. We adopted the plan, you know a lot about it, but we are more focused on outdoor use. So we're looking at reducing our consumptive use, which has a long-term impacts on our water rights needs. And then we looked at the west side reuse. So this is the Bosque plant. For those of you that aren't familiar, the Bosque High School is located about Montano in the river. We purchased land from the Bosque School about 10 years ago. We're getting ready to put a fence around that site, grade that site. We're going to put a nice sign up that says the future home of a water reclamation facility, so that everybody knows that's what's happening, and we are moving forward with the phasing and construction of that site in the future. We think it's going to provide about 2,000 to 5,000 or 2,000 to 7,000 acre feet of water to serve existing turf areas on the west side. And one of the tremendous benefits from transitioning to non-potable is you take that demand off the potable system. So if we had, say, a 4 million gallon a day demand that was needed to serve these turf sites now, we now have 4 million gallons of potable water available to use in some other way by transitioning to a different source. So that's one of the huge benefits of moving forward with the west side reuse. Here's some conceptual layouts of what that might look like. We have a lot of requirements that were built into this covenant and covenants that we built into this agreement with the Bosque School. It's going to look like the Bosque School. We're going to have a space available to have science classes come over and teach them about wastewater treatment. We're going to have free access for them to come to our site and work together. We're going to continue with the BEMP program, which is the Bosque Environmental Monitoring Program, so we provided funding for that. It'll be completely enclosed, and odor control, of course, will be a big issue. We will not be treating solids at this. We'll be treating and separating out the liquids and using the liquids and pumping the solids to the plant. So we won't be handling any solids there. So this is kind of what it might look like. I'm sure it's going to change a lot over the next few years, but we are moving forward with this. On the east side reuse, we talked about the Tajares plant. We got 60 acres that were donated from Kirtland Air Force Base about 6 months ago. We're in the process of getting the survey and getting all the documents for that. But that plant would be located right on the Tajares interceptor, which runs right along the Tajares Arroyo. And the concept there is we would treat that effluent, and we could use it for turf irrigation, or we could clean it up enough, let it go into the Tajares Arroyo and let it soak into the ground. Build a series of wells and pump it out. You have an aquifer storage and recovery project where we're using some of our effluent for reuse and for aquifer storage and recovery. So that's the concept there. The Tajares Arroyo is a perfect arroyo. It's a direct contact with the deep aquifer, so it's a perfect spot to do ASR. The only problem with it, it's located lots of contamination along the Tajares Arroyo, so we got to make sure, if you guys know, the bulk fuel facility is just upstream of this, but we'd have to be careful where we're putting it in. But this is one of the projects that's moving forward. Direct and indirect potable reuse, we've looked at, and our planning and engineering manager, Dave Price, has started looking at advanced wastewater treatment at the Southside Water Reclamation Plant. So when we have excess reuse available, we can start to treat that and think about what that might look like in terms of a drinking water source. So this is going to be part of our future. This is what we've adopted, so we're moving forward with these plans now. On the storage front, as you know, we are moving forward with increased storage in Abiquiu Reservoir, where we're purchasing the easements to add 35,000 acre feet up there. We just processed the agreement this last month that you agreed to in September for 50,000 acre feet in Elephant Butte, and future potential storage either in the aquifer or even potentially off-channel storage reservoir in and around Albuquerque is another option that was talked about in the plan. Storage gives you a lot of flexibility, so when we have excess water that's available, we can store it and use it for future times. We don't get a lot of excess water, but when we do, rather than just wiping our brow and say thanks, you know, it's great, we maybe be able to save some of that and use it for the future. In terms of our environmental, part of our water operations, I'm happy to say you guys approved the lease from the Bureau of Reclamation last month. They've been using that water. They've used about 3,500 acre feet of the 20,000 acre feet so far. The Albuquerque stretch of the river remains wet on the various quantities at different times, depending on what's going on upstream of us. We're going to get rain. In fact, it was raining outside right now when I just came in. So that's going to increase the river flows, but you're going to see the Albuquerque stretch wet the rest of the remaining of the irrigation season, which was a very positive outlook in terms of Endangered Species Act collaboration. Adaptive management, this is a process that we're going to continue to update the strategy every 5 years. And this is just some pictures from you of Abiquiu and Elephant Butte in terms of the increase in storage. Madam Chair, that's all I had tonight. I'll be glad to answer any questions, and I look forward to the October presentation to give you some additional information, and thank you so much for your patience.
Mr. Stomp, thank you. Great report. Very nice. Any questions? Thank you. You answered every question we might have. Thank you, Mr. Stomp. That's great news. Moving right along, I will make a motion to approve the August 20th, 2018 minutes. There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have proclamations and awards. Mr. Stomp, I think this is you again. I don't know.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you so much
Stomp,
for your
welcome.
patience. I wanted to present to you this Peak Performance Award we got from the National Association of Clean Water Agencies. We received the silver award for having less than 5 violations at the wastewater plant. And I'm actually happy to say we went 14 months without a violation at the wastewater plant the entire fiscal year of 2018. So we have significantly done way better at the wastewater plant. This is part of that performance. Our next award is the Gold Award, and that is when you have 0 violations in a year. 5 gold awards and you get the Platinum Award. So we have some strides to go. We're proud of this, but this isn't the end of where we're headed. So just wanted to present this award to you, and Platinum is our goal, really. So thank you very much.
Mr. Stomp, thank you. Thanks to all of your crew and everyone who makes this possible. It's not just one person or one division. So thank you all. This is great for Albuquerque.
We have an
And Bernalillo
amazing,
County.
amazing staff. We really do.
Thank you. Yes, you do. Thank you. Let's see, I believe next we have public comment. Do we have any speakers? We have 3 speakers. Would you call the first one, please?
Elaine Cimino, followed by Elaine Hubbard.
And a reminder, you will have 3 minutes with a warning at 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name's Elaine Cimino. I wrote the sole source aquifer designation that EPA granted to the state of New Mexico for 3,000 square miles in northern New Mexico. I've sat on the aquifer recovery boards when we were writing the regulations for that, and I've sat on the Source Water Protection Committee for Rio Rancho. I have also been dealing with the oil and gas issue in Rio Rancho as well. I see that I probably will have to write some kind of a report about this because while there are some very good things in your source water protection report, it's missing some really key evidence. And it may be because your staff isn't aware of that evidence. And so during our research on oil and gas and dealing with Sandoval County for 3 years now in writing an ordinance, we discovered that there was that they were going to use brine, the brine wells out in the Rio Perco, they could use raw brine to frack with. So this has kind of changed the issue of where they're going to get their water, how they were going to use it for 15,000 wells in Sandoval County. What we've discovered in the brine issue was that there was a report that was covered up in a district court hearing that went to the Supreme Court. And that report was a hydrology report that was created for the Interstate Stream Commission, and it was the Schumacher report for 2009 and 2013 that shows that if they pump that brine of 47,000 acre-feet a year, they would impact the Rio Grande. And that report was covered up. Then D'Antonio went to the legislature and still covered up that information and then disallowed beneficial use on brine. So this is really important because if they frack with brine, they can also impact a lot of the shallow aquifers. And so this information isn't widely known, and it's important that this committee and your staff look into these things and integrate that into this report. There's many more things that I would like to speak to you about, but I think we'll probably have some time coming
Thank
up
you, ma'am.
in
Your
the
time's
year,
up. Thank you.
in the next
If I may
month.
ask a
So
question?
thank you very much.
May I ask a question, please,
Yes.
ma'am? You say that you wrote the report and we did the study, and who do you represent, please?
I'm working with a group of residents in Rio Rancho, and we're trying to protect our water.
Okay, so it's a group of residents. It's
We're-
not, okay, I thought maybe you were
I'm not
representing.
I'm not a big NGO or anything like that. We're just trying to protect our drinking water
Got it.
out
Thank
in Rio Rancho.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you
Are there
very
any other
much.
questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Elaine Hubbard, followed by Nancy Bursch.
Good evening, Ms. Hubbard.
What's the chance of having two Elaines back to back?
Pretty slim, but thank you.
I'm going.
Sorry. I'm sorry?
Give me one. Oh, it's looking at you guys, no wonder.
Oh,
Thank you.
something simple like that I can't handle, sorry. Hi, my name is Elaine Hibbard. As always, given the short comment time, I have to pick and choose among the various topics that I could discuss, and I have to leave out a lot of detail, which would be helpful. John Stoff's presentation is delightful. However, the devil is in the details. Let me just give you a couple of thoughts. As shown in the water report, the reduction in per capita use and the rising levels is quite a story, but it leaves ample opportunity for asking questions and making suggestions. It tells us that less water was used last year than the year before. I have here a graphic that I've taken from 2010 to 2018 for the months January through August from the reports that are submitted to the state engineer by the water utility. Actually, it's interesting, it shows a little bit more was used, but not significantly. What's more interesting is the difference on groundwater versus surface water, and that's something that this board should be taking into consideration. And you can see that this groundwater, which is the blue, is much less now, so that's a good thing. But is it enough? In this dry year, that's been 43%. In the Water 2120, the goal is that the aquifer levels will rise to be 50 feet below pre-development level. That still leaves 50 feet, not ever refilled. Right now, that hole, if you will, is about 95 to 100 feet. So those river depletions are caused by that hole. And those river depletions were about 60,000 acre feet, almost as much as what was produced so far this year, total in water, was what had to be going back to fill those holes by the river. What will it take then to fill that extra 50 feet? Well, since we've seen in the last 8 years, maybe 15 feet rise, and we've got 50 feet, that means it's going to have to rise like 3 times what it has in the last 8 years to achieve the goal in the 2020s. How will that be done? By reducing depletions, by reducing pumping. The only way, or one of the major ways to do that, is by reuse. But if you saw from the presentation, reuse kicks in 2035. Right now, it's about 4%. Half of that, or more than half, is covered by the San Juan Chama water for for the North I-25 project. Anyway, there's a lot more that could be said, but the idea is that triggers, measurements, and goals have to have objectives, targets to reach. And what you have in here is a whole lot of projects that are going to be used, but what's needed are some very specific triggers and objectives year by year to reach that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hibbert. Any questions? And we have a final speaker. Good evening. Madam Treasurer.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board here. I come simply to give some information to you that I don't know if you're aware of or not. I don't even know how's it viewed. That I recently went to a very nice Sierra Club meeting that devoted itself to this 45-minute video that's out, Sacred Land, Sacred Water. And it is about primarily the fight in Sandoval County. And it's very well done. And I think what I really took away from it was that, you know, the 17 or 18 years that I've been following the Kirtland jet fuel spill and making sure that from a community level that gets cleaned up, that, you know, we were on the right path for that you can have community, you can have residents come together and understand science, and you can have scientists come and speak to community people in understandable ways. Although I know people behind me are not surprised by that comment, especially Diane, who's probably looking at me right now. Hi, Diane. But what's really great about this video is to have a wonderful geologist, retired geologist, who's worked in the Rio Grande Rift for years and years, this is where his profession was, and talk about educating elected officials like yourself, governing bodies, regular lay citizens, people who just, you know, go home and want to turn on their water and have safe water. And that the way that we can do that is all engaging together. Because when you look at this picture, which is a cross-section of the Albuquerque rift that we have, that really goes from Cochiti all the way down to Belen, which is why we raised the issue with the Kirtland jet fuel spill. Because we said, do you realize this will affect the largest urban area in New Mexico? This is not a Southeast Heights issue. This is major New Mexico issue. So when we come together on these things, I think we can and we must do our part to make sure that that happens. Because it's complicated stuff. You know that from sitting on this board. But you can understand it, you can make decisions, and you can work off of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming here. I think Councilor Davis has a comment or a question.
Thanks. Madam Treasurer, thanks so much for bringing that to us, and you're absolutely right. It is a good video. Some of you may have been here actually. Commissioner O'Malley and Councilor Benton and I hosted a town hall with Don and some of the folks that were working on this project earlier in the year. And we're going to follow that up with a preview or a public showing of that video at the Chemo, since we have the mic, on Chemo on October 14th at 2 p.m.
Wonderful.
And so Indivisible Nob Hill, 350.org, and others are helping to get that organized to continue that public education. And so we'll use for the handful of people who watch these meetings on TV, we'll ask them to come join us on October 14th. And I'd love to have you be there because you've been a part of that Kirtland piece from the very beginning.
That would be wonderful. I did purchase this video, so I know if, you know, any of you counselors would like to borrow it for any community meeting, I'm sure it can be lent out to you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We will send you a bill for that commercial. Councilor Davis? Okay. Next item is the next scheduled meeting, which will be October 17th, 2018 at 5 p.m. in the Vincent E. Griego Chambers. Customers wishing to participate in this year's customer conversations on drinking water quality can register on our website at www.abcwua.org. All the meetings are at 6 p.m. on the following dates and locations. October 18th at the Manzano Mesa Multi-Generational Center, October 24th at the Don Newton Taylor Ranch Community Center, November 8th at the South Valley Senior Center, and November 13th at the Sid Cutter Pilots Pavilion Center. And indeed, again, all of these meetings will be at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, of course, you can call the offices. We have no introductions of legislation. We have no consent agenda, so we'll move right along to the approvals. And we have one speaker.
Elaine Hubbard.
Hello again, Ms. Hubbard.
I need the light on again, please. Hi, good evening again. When discussing item 9A, addressing or authorizing the borrowing of $83 million, I would also refer you to item 9C, being the resolution to approve the unaudited FY18 financial report, and item 9D, being the fourth quarter performance indicator report. According to the memo on the financial report, revenues were higher, expenses were lower, and there was $20 million more in the cash reserves than when it began at the beginning of FY17. So if there was such a surplus, why is borrowing going to be $27 million more than what the plan had been when it was proposed a couple of years ago? Indeed, why has there been the need to borrow more than the biennial amount of $56 million for the last 3 borrowings? Given the surplus of projection, which was the surplus of revenue, which was projected, why is there a need to borrow an additional $40 million above the $218 million that was supposed to be borrowed between now and 2024? If the cash reserves are actually more than the 1/12 necessary to have as reserved, why not use those to pay down some of the obligations and expenses? No matter what, is the CIP spending keeping up? So this chart that I'm showing you right now was the graphic that was showed last April, and it shows CIP spending to be for 2019 somewhere in the neighborhood of $64 million. However, as you can see from the budget, it was actually $84 million. That may be because, as shown by this graphic, there was a $20 million carryover from the previous year. So in FY17 to FY18, there was a carryover. There's probably a good $25 or $30 million carryover this time. So again, I'm wondering how these decisions are being made. How does the ABCWA compare to other utilities in its borrowing? Well, you'll notice that the red line, which is the utility, is way higher than everybody else. This is the FY17 performance plan. Lower values are good, not higher values. So that's not reported in the indicator plan, the indicators that will be provided tonight. But as you can see, my 3 minutes are up. It's not enough to give a full report. What I would suggest is there be some assistance provided to the board to go through a lot of these issues rather than a 3-minute snapshot, sort of a rapid fire snapshot, if you will,
Thank you,
of these
ma'am.
kinds of issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I think all those issues will be addressed during the presentations.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you. First, we're going to approvals. Is Commissioner Casada on the phone? No? Okay. First is O187, authorizing the issuance and sale of the Water Authority Senior Lien Joint Water and Sewer System Revenue Bonds, Series 2018, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $83 million. Mr. Eric Harrington from RBC. Good evening.
Great, thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the authority. Eric Harrigan, RBC Capital Markets. So I have before you a presentation that I'll walk you through that covers not only this agenda item, but the next agenda item, which is the conforming resolution. So for the 2018 bonds, we're expected to sell this at a negotiated sale on October 16th, and the estimated borrowing rate, which is a little conservative given current market conditions, is a little above 3%. This will be sold as a 12-year final maturity, which is conservative given where most utilities borrow, but you're able to retire more of your debt quicker, and really provides for a very attractive debt maturity schedule for the bond buying community. The issuance of these 2018 bonds conforms with the authority's debt policy. The authority has ratings with Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch. We had a rating meeting with Standard & Poor's and Moody's on Monday, but similar to the last time that the authority borrowed, we're not seeking a Fitch rating. We expect that those ratings will be maintained. The proceeds of the 2018 bonds will be used for the following: $56 million for a general project, $12 million for special projects, specifically clarifiers, $9 million for consolidated customer services and field operations, $2 million for IT projects, $2 million for aquifer storage and recovery, and then $3 million for the solids dewatering plant, for a total of $84 million. From a time schedule standpoint, as I mentioned, we plan to, subject to your approval tonight, we plan to market these bonds on and around the 16th of October, and then we would schedule to come before the board and report those sales results to you, and then we would close at the end of October, and that's when funds would be available for the authority to expend on the projects that I covered. On the following page, we have a breakdown of the sources and uses of funds, as well as the anticipated maturity schedule based upon current interest rates. Just like to point out that the estimated par amount will be about $75 million. The reason that is we expect a premium because the coupons that will be sold to investors will be higher than the equivalent yields, and therefore investors pay a premium for that higher coupon. That's why a lower par amount. But it will fund $84 million in projects. Cost of issuance of $400,000. That makes up rating agency fees, financial advisory fees. We have an agreement through the Water Utility Authority that we've piggybacked off of the county agreement that was awarded through an RFP, and then the underwriter discount. J.P. Morgan and R.W. Baird will serve as the underwriters for the authority on this transaction. On the following page, this is all of the authority's outstanding debt with the 2000 and proposed 2018 borrowing layered in. From a market standpoint, we have seen a rise in interest rates this year. We saw a little bit of a dip in August and early September. But with the very vibrant labor market, if you will, and increasing median wages, there's been some pressure on interest rates as of late because of what we may be potentially looking at 4 increases by the Federal Reserve next year, and originally that was suggested to be 2. But from a historical standpoint, if I can go to the back, When you look at where we are historically from where interest rates have been higher 82% of the time since they are now. So still attractive time to be in the market, and we do expect to achieve attractive interest rates on this bond sale. Catherine Cregan with the Module Law Firm is here to answer any questions that you have, and I'll pause to see if you have any questions on the information that I've gone over.
Thank you, Mr. Harrigan. Are there any questions? Great job. Thank you. Thank you both. With that, I'll move approval of 018-7. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed, motion carries. Also move approval of R18-20. There's a motion and a second for approval of R18-20. All those in favor say yes. Yes. Motion carries. Next is the approving fiscal year 2018 unaudited fourth quarter financial report, year ending June 30th, 2018. Mr. Allred, good evening.
He's a little taller than me. Madam Chairman and members of the board, my name is Stan Allred. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the Water Authority. What we'll present to you is our fourth quarter financial dashboard. Part of this presentation is a resolution attached to this. It was a change made by the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administrative Services, where it requires a resolution that I presented the fourth quarter financials, and therefore they will approve our 2019 budget. So what I have before you is our fourth quarter. This is unaudited numbers, but they're subject to change, but I don't expect them to change that much. Our revenues in 2018 were $223 million. You remember we had a rate increase effective July 1 of 2017. We had budgeted about $220 million of revenue to be generated, and we generated 223, so we were about $3 million above what we projected from the rate increase. That was primarily by the way we did the rate increases. We tried to stabilize the water rates by putting more of the rate on the fixed rate versus the commodity. So 49% of our rate now is based upon the base rate. And then we did, because cost of service was due to our capital spending, we put a little more on the sewer side, which is more stable than on the water side. So we're still conserving water, but then we're actually keeping our rates fairly stable so we don't have another 2011. But as you can see, it's been increasing from FY16 through 17. We had the rate increase, and that was the spike in 18. On the next page is our operating expenditures. As you can see, our general admin expenditures have been actually getting smaller from one year to the next. That's because we create a lot of efficiency within the utility. Like AMI, we've basically took our water meter readers and made them utility techs. So we kept people in. Our service areas are growing. Our number of customers are growing, but we're changing our workforce, making them smarter, giving them opportunities to move up, and we use a lot of mobile technology to try to offset those expenditures. The one expenditure that has been increasing was the transfers. It's increasing primarily for two reasons, was for debt service, but also for the transfer that we transfer to capital to pay for the capital expenditures. As you're aware of from the graphic you've seen before, we're increasing our spending transfer by $3 million a year. We do not do that through debt financing. We do those through transfers from our operating expenditures. You will see this bar start reducing in 2020 and 21. We retire $6 million worth of debt in fiscal year 2020, and we retire another $7 million worth of debt service payments in 2021. On the next page is just a quick depiction of how much we actually spend per month. Our heavy months are September and June, and those are primarily due to chemicals to run our water treatment plant. But other than that, we really held our expenditures in check. On the next page, days cash on hand. At the end of FY18, we had 463 days cash on hand. In FY11, the market dropped. We had the the drought came into place. We had people stop using water. Conservation was really kind of taking off, and we had a complete drop in FY13, which you kind of see was about 120 days cash on hand. Our working capital balance at that point in time was a negative $18 million. We worked through that. At the end of this year, it'll be a positive $34 million. We did this year in FY18 reduce, I'm sorry, I'm not moving along with you. We did reduce, took some of that fund balance and we transferred $3 million to capital from the operating to pay for some of the work in the South Valley. We do have a fund balance now that's in place, but we're looking at where we're expecting to do a rate increase in FY 20, but I think we'll offset not doing a rate increase and waiting and pushing that out, using that fund balance and giving a break to our ratepayers. On the next slide, I'll move along with you guys now, is our year-to-date expenditures for capital. So for capital, we actually appropriate money each year to that, and that appropriation never dies. So for those projects, we never have to reappropriate them every year. So we appropriate $60 million for a project in 2016. That appropriation lives until that project's done, and we encumber funds against those projects that we work along. So as you can see, in the prior years, our spending was a lot less, actually cash going out the door, but the cash was sitting there. And then in the last couple of years, it actually increased in 2017 and 2018. So it wasn't really as a fact as that we appropriated money to make sure that we had money to do projects so we could encumber funds against those projects. And then we really took off and did a lot of projects in 2017 and 2018. And a lot of that was by using money that was appropriated in 2016. So that's kind of what was happening here. But we really picked up on a lot of our rehab spending in the last 2 years for capital. This is our debt coverage ratio. It's 2.99 for our senior lien with in 2018 with the covenants level of 1.33. It was 2.33 for all senior lien or all debt levels with a covenant level of 1.2. So as you can see, as we start our cash balances increasing, our debt coverage has increased dramatically along with that. So real quick on our water use production, we actually used a little more water this year in May. It was a lot dry in May, but it's been pretty consistent over the last 2 years. Same thing with our water consumption. It's been really consistent over the last 2 years. And then you can see this with really quickly. This is our usage compared to rainfall. So September last year, there was a lot of rain, and our consumption was down. And when we have a lot less rain, we use more water. So you kind of see how precipitation affects the water usage across our service area. And I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Alred. Are there any questions? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yes. Councilor Davis.
Mr. Howard, really quickly, I just noticed that in June of 18, we exceeded our expenditures, our projected expenditures by a fairly notable amount, not a lot, but more than we had been keeping up pretty well ahead of that. Can you tell us just what is that end of year sort of catch-up stuff there?
So the way this graph works, Councilor Davis and Madam Chairman, the budget expenditures are straight lined.
Yep.
And then we actually show what we actually spend actual in those months. For June, primarily, that's just purely chemicals for the water treatment plant.
Okay.
We ramp up the water treatment plant, and we spend a lot of money on the
We just
chemicals
did it
in
in
that
one.
month.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Alred. Any other questions? I move approval of R 1824. There's a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is Mr. Frank Roth with the FY 2018 fourth quarter performance indicator report. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. These performance indicators are aligned to our goals and objectives, benchmarking, and customer opinion survey. It's presented by the service level categories of regulatory, reliability, quality, customer service, and finance. Overall, we achieved our targets in 19 of the 22 indicators. 3 are what we call a work in progress, where we were very close to meeting our targets. And we set these targets very high and challenge ourselves to be high performing and meet our customers' expectations in service delivery. Sometimes it takes several years to realize the progress in these indicators, maybe a couple of years. For example, in past years, we didn't meet our targets in customer service, but this year we did. And this is a continuing improvement process where we reevaluate our targets and look at whether or not we should increase these targets in order to improve our performance. Overall, this is a year-end report for fiscal year 18. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Roth. Do I need to move approval of this? Move approval of C 1831. There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes. Yes, motion carries. And last is approving a service connection agreement for water and sewer service with Kids Academy Preschool, LLC at 10751 Fineland Drive Northwest. Mr. Cadena, good evening.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I present to you a service connection agreement for a proposed Kids Academy located on the northeast quadrant of Unser and McMahon. The property is outside the adopted service area, therefore it needs board approval. The development will pay the applicable water resource charge as well as the UECs, and it's just simple connections to existing infrastructure.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I move approval of C 1832. There's a motion and a second to approve C 1832. All in favor say yes. Yes. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That's the end of the meeting this evening. Thank you for attending.